G'day everyone. Today I'm bringing you a full solo run of the Sentient Pest expedition as the Raider. The Raider was a bit of a learning curve for me over the past day or so, since I'd mostly been playing the Wilder and Iron Eye up until now, but once I got the hang of it, it turned out to be seriously powerful and really satisfying to play. So here's a full, unedited, uncut playthrough with live commentary, giving you an insight into what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and a bunch of general tips and tricks along the way. So here we go. Alrighty, so as always, we're going to start having a squiz at our map. This is a mountain event, just by the way. And the Sentient Pest is weak against fire. So we've got a couple of churches down the bottom here, and we've got two fire map features, a church and a war camp. So I might head towards those first, and then we'll see which direction the map moves us in, because we don't get full control, obviously. We'll start with a church flask charge, which is very nice. Let's get rid of these little rats, which is surprisingly slow at level 1 on the Raider. The Raider at level 1 is very slow, and honestly, kind of, it's a bit ironic because he's kind of really vulnerable at level 1 because his attacks are so slow, and he doesn't have the normal armor and HP that he will have by the end of the game to compensate for it, so it's actually just a little dangerous. I did have 1 or 2 runs where I literally died at like level 1 or 2 when I was practicing the Raider, and I was like, oh man, this isn't it. But no, we're used to it now. But you do need to just give the enemies a little bit of respect at level 1 as the Raider, because you can get caught out with your slow attacks, and all it takes is a couple of little hits. They're not going to stagger you because your armor is high. You've got higher poise than the other characters, probably except for the Guardian. But they'll just kill you because your HP is so low. Alright, so I'm thinking definitely fire church into fire war camp down the bottom. And we'll see where we go from there. It looks like I can either go through the tunnel to the churches, or I'll go up the top. We'll see which way the map moves. Now, if you've watched my other videos, you know I tend to err on the side of killing more trash than less. I know some people like to just kill no trash and they just boss rush. I prefer to kill more trash than not. But there is a bit of a balance. So, but I will skip some things because it's actually, the Raider's actually kind of quite slow. His attacks are so slow and everything that he can take quite a while in these first few levels and be quite slow. There we go. Although the high stance damage on these colossal weapons is so satisfying. Literally a single jump attack like that staggers these basic minions, or stance breaks them rather. Not that that's particularly impressive, but still satisfying nonetheless. Okay, yeah, just like that, right? Quite easy to just nearly get chipped down without realizing it because you're not actually getting stance broken. What have we got here? Jump attacks, I'll grab that. Fine Grace, probably don't need the key for now. Alright, let's head down underneath. There should be a fire monk underneath for this one. Oh, wrong side. Always get my sides mixed up on this. Let's have a look. We'll grab these seals. Don't need guard breaking, but improved damage negation at full HP. Any form of damage negation, is always good. Full HP, low HP. Having both of those is good because then you're kind of always covered. Although to be fair, I don't know exactly what percentage thresholds those are active in, but they can't hurt, that's for sure. Now the stomp mechanic, and I'll talk about this more and more as we go, but the stomp mechanic I underestimated at first when I first, fire Great Stars. Great Stars is just an Elden Ring classic. It's one of the great weapons, I think, of the game. I don't think it's a colossal weapon. I think it's a hammer. I think it must be a great hammer. I think it's a great hammer in terms of the class of weapon. It's not a colossal weapon, but a great hammer. So it does very high poise because hammers do the highest poise damage in terms of, stance damage. It's poise damage, stance damage, whatever you want to call it. Hammers do the highest with axes, great spears, and great swords all being on a tier below the hammer. So yeah, hammers are real, and then obviously colossal weapons are the highest, but colossal swords and colossal weapons included. Oh, there we go. Now I've got a high HP and a low HP one. Exactly what I just talked about. As in damage negation, that is. Yeah, so the Great Stars is a fantastic weapon, and there's every chance that I'll use this for the whole game, this weapon. Fire is exactly what I wanted for this boss, being the Sentient Pest, whatever the Gnoster or whatever the big bug's name is. And it also does bleed, and it's a hammer. Like what? Ooh, no, max HP down. We don't want that. So it's a hammer, high stance damage. It's got high base damage because it's fire and I'm a strength character. And it also does bleed. So it's just kind of like the whole package. Great Stars is a great weapon. And unless I get something really good, I'll probably use this the whole game. And I'll put it up to purple at some point after the first day, probably in the second day. Fire war camps are really free, like they're just a free win. You just jump up top. If you're not familiar with this particular tactic, if you haven't seen it before, these flame chariots did this in baseline Elden Ring, but you didn't have a double jump in baseline Elden Ring. So typically you had to, unless they were next to a piece of terrain that you could actually jump off, you kind of had to kill them normally. Whereas now you can literally just scale up the side or back of them like that. And all you want to be doing is, as you jump up the second point and you're kind of in the vicinity of near their head, you just spam your normal basic attack button, and you'll just snap into that steam vent or whatever it is on the top of their head. Wait, there we go. Lovely. Super free. You can literally hit these at level 1 if you happen to start near one of these. Typically, you'll start near churches or forts, but if you start near a war camp fire variation at level 1 that has the flame chariots, you can literally just send that at level 1 and it's just as easy. What have we got here? Purple successive attacks negate damage, 60%. That's really good. I will be using that the whole run, I'd say. So successive attacks negate damage is one of my favorite and probably one of the best passives, I think. It's not probably one of the best. Taking damage increases damage negation is probably the best in terms of defensive. Literally just whenever you take damage, you then take reduced damage. So anything that's hitting you more than once. I don't know, to be fair, if that applies on the hit that triggers it. Oh, charged skills, that'll do. Not that I'm probably going to be using Eruption much, but the Godfrey Archon increases charged spells and skills. So it does apply to, I think Eruption's chargeable. Anyway, better than nothing. Charged spells and skills, yeah, 18%, that's pretty big. Yeah, anyway, successive attacks. So after, I don't know what it is, 3 attacks maybe, you get this bubble shield that I've got on me here. And 60%, this one here. So the damage of that next hit will be reduced by 60%, which is just really nice for survivability and just damage negation across a whole run. Getting that at level 3, very nice. We are off to a good start between a Great Stars and a 60% damage negation. Now, the pumpkin head guy wasn't there, so it's either a knight, like a red main knight in this next room, or it'll be the troll down the bottom. And there's no knight, so it's the troll down this way. Once you've done the mines that are confusing at first, but once you've done them a few times, it's not that bad. Well, that was supposed to be a running heavy. Oh well, it's a bit slow. All right, for trolls, if you're not too comfortable fighting these, you want to, I'm just going to use a grease there, fully charged heavy attacks to the legs is what you want to do. And after kind of 2, 3, 4, you'll stance break it pretty comfortably. And then you can get up to, no, if you don't get stuck behind it like I am here, you can get up to its head and do a critical, but I'll just hit its legs, that's fine. There we go, there's bleed. That's why Great Stars is amazing. All this damage and also bleed. Lovely, and that'll get you a purple stone to take our Great Stars probably to level 3. But we'll see what else we get. Let's just have a look at these. Nothing too interesting here. I've already got damage negation at low HP. Red lightning while walking. Nah. Okay. All right. I have to get out of here and head towards the church on the lakeside, I think. Oh, there we go. We'll just collect a few of these on the way through. Here anyway, I may as well get a few runes. 63k runes, that'll get us to level 5 at least, I think. Maybe even 6. Why can't I? Oh, no, stamina. Running out of stamina. Alright, so yeah, that's the way through use those mines as I've just done to get through the map. I came out a different entrance to what I went in. So I'm straight across to this next church, which is good. So I'll get a second church in day 1. So that'll be 2 churches for the first night boss, which is nice. We'll clean up these guys and we'll go grab the church. And then from there, I'm probably just going to keep going across. There's a 3rd church over that way. And that'll do me, I think. What have we got here? Nothing useful. Good. I won't fight this field boss, whatever it is. Black Knife Assassin. I will fight this guy. Maybe risky, but it should be fine. So the reason I'm choosing to fight this guy... Normally, if this was any other field boss, I would not fight it at level 5 or 6. But the Black Knife Assassin has very low poise themselves, and they're fighting with a dagger, but I've got very high armor, and I do very big poise damage. So, as in, he's not going to be able to stagger me between attacks with his dagger, but I am going to stagger him. So as you can see there, I can just kind of brute force him, essentially. This is just armor diff, and that's just knowledge of Elden Ring that I'm using there. Oh, another great stars. Not fire, so it's high base damage, but having fire is what we want. We'll just take the 5% fire attack power, I think. Yeah. We'll grab this. We'll grab this one here. So yeah, typically I wouldn't take on field bosses, but that one there was a bit of... Oh, increased poise. That was a bit of an exception just because of the poise difference, essentially. The Black Knife Assassin being very low poise, I knew that my attacks would stagger it, and that his attacks wouldn't stagger me, importantly. Most bosses, most field bosses, you can't just attack through their attacks, because their attacks will stagger you. From here, pretty much just going to go to that fort, and then up to the church, I think. And we're already level 7. This is looking pretty good. I need to use those silver feet for the... whatever they're called, the consumables for loot chance, but I keep forgetting to use them. Oh well, that's fine. We've got a fort up here. It's a standard fort, I think, so it should have a abductor virgin. Yeah, it is a standard fort. Just an abductor virgin there, which should be super simple at level 7. And then, oh, here's the knight. We'll just clear out this dude. Which way is it coming? Oh, we're down behind us. Okay. We'll have to rush if we want to get to that church. We might be able to get it after. Yeah, super easy. Alright, so Retaliation. I haven't really used it much yet, but I'll tell you about it now. So Retaliation is the character skill. Bang! That huge punch that I just did there, and I didn't talk to you about it in time to see what was happening, but essentially, if you haven't used it or you're not familiar with the Raider, or you are, and I'll just tell you the obvious anyway, when you use the character skill Retaliation, you take kind of a low stance, and because of your character's passive, you have hyper armor in that stance. You can tank the biggest hits in the game and you won't get knocked over or anything. And in fact, if you use it kind of almost as a parry or an absorb, if you use it when you're receiving damage or an attack, you will then empower it and you'll do that almost like air pulse punch instead of just the standard punch. And this is significant because you take very little damage in this when you're in that kind of retaliation stance. You don't get knocked over, and then the retaliation punch that you do does pretty respectable damage, but importantly it does really high poise. I don't know what it is, but it's probably at least on equivalent of a fully charged heavy attack, maybe even more. So really significant amount of poise, which is nice. And we're going to use that on some... because the problem is we're very slow. Our attacks are very slow and we have low mobility as the Raider, but we have high armor and we have retaliation, which means that we will use that, as you saw there. His attack didn't knock me over. Look at my health bar. Barely anything. Barely any damage from that standard greatsword attack. And then I punched him back. And that wasn't even the empowered punch. That was just a standard punch. And that's going to be our kind of... Ooh, here we go. No, we're good. That's going to be our toolkit or our kind of skill usage that will give us an edge against some of these later bosses, when ordinarily a Raider that's got very low mobility... Let's just have a quick look at what we got here. Nothing. It's always worth having it. Oh, nah. I could get that multiple periodic glint blades and put it on my back, but it was 15k and I don't have that, so that's okay. Multiple periodic glint blades is always good. Geez, I can't say that. Glint blades. But I didn't have enough for it, so that's fine. Just clear out this wolf that's chasing us down, and we'll get this guy as well. Why not? If we can. Lovely. Alright. Now, I'm not too familiar with the bosses for this Sentient Pest expedition, to be honest, so we'll see what we get. I've got some fire pot. Oh, perfect for fire pots. Bang. There we go. Remember to use your fire pots and things like that, especially in the, towards the end of the game, fire pots are going to be pretty insignificant. They're not going to do a lot of damage, but early on, levels 1 through 5 especially, fire pots and stuff are really quite strong, so don't be afraid to use them very liberally. We're just going to clear out these 3. I don't know what this boss is going to be. I haven't had this set before, I don't think. So we'll see the tree, whatever these guys are, tree guardians or whatever these guys are called. There we go. Stance break, which we'll be doing consistently. What have we got? Let's pop a crab, and we'll have a... Oh, ulcerated tree spirit. I hate these things. I'm just doing a fully charged heavy attack right off the bat. Oh, and I missed. Oh, that's a terrible start. Well, that's a terrible start. Oh, that does a lot of damage. Alright, that grab attack's not what we want. Right, I'm going to heal up, and I might just have to use my full ulti here to absorb that attack. Lovely. Bang. Get a few hits off. And I'll see if I can demonstrate the retaliation here. Like that. Oh, I didn't get the empowered one. But you see it didn't do much damage at least. And it didn't knock me over. And I'll let my... Oh, he just belly flopped me. I'll let my Great Stars do the work. Because this thing, I think, is vulnerable to bleed. As in, it can take a bleed proc. Some things that are like inanimate objects can't be bled. But I think this one can be. It certainly is vulnerable to fire. So that's good. Oh, get away from that. Get away from that. Ah, here we go. See this? Air punch. Bang. So you didn't see it because of the explosion, but I used the retaliation then. I took basically no damage. Look at my health bar. And then I did that huge punch back, which just got me back in control of the fight. Got me back in control of the fight until I ate the grab attack again. But that's alright. I'll be able to finish him off here. I hope. Let's heal up. Lovely. Oh, dear. Oh, I'm making this harder than it needs to be, aren't I? Oh, dear. There we go. All right. Very good. So, Tree Spirit wasn't too bad because they are vulnerable to fire, and I already have a fire weapon, so that works out nicely for us. Bunch of FP stuff and counterattack. Thrusting counterattack, that's no good either. Thrusting counterattack is when, for example, you're holding a shield and a spear, and you're jabbing them with the spear at the same time they're attacking you. Different to a guard counter. I'm pretty sure that's what a counterattack is. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that is from my pulling on my Elden Ring archives of memory. You don't have to wait for the night to finish, by the way. Like, especially as I know that I'm just running towards the side of grace, I'll just leave early. There's no need to wait; it's just a waste of time. All I'm doing is running to a side of grace, and I'll get topped up. I've got a 5 health potion, so I wasn't in no danger there. Lovely. All right, where next? So there's a church there we're still going to grab. There's another fire camp if I want it, or I can just head straight up through the mountains, which is, I think, what I'll do. We're level 9 already at the start of day 2, which is nice. We're in a good position here to go straight to the mountains and get quite a lot of loot. So we'll see how that goes. Ooh, another scarab. Bang. What have we got? Oh, perfect. Oh, which to take? Poise is good. Charge skills. I guess eruption. I don't really... Oh, no, I might charge eruption. So I got rid of the poise. I kept Godfrey's and I kept the HP. HP is a non-negotiable. HP is the best. Charged skills is not that useful because I don't think that applies to my heavy attacks. If it did, that would definitely be the best. But it only is applying to my skill, which is eruption, which is not that good. It is chargeable, but I'm probably not going to use it that much. Whereas poise from the Bullgoat's talisman is good. Poise is always really handy. But I think my poise is high enough that most ordinary mobs aren't going to bother me anyway. And I think it's kind of diminishing returns. I think... Oh, there we go. Many periodic glint blades. Lovely. We'll grab that. We'll grab that. What are we going to replace? Probably crits? Jump attacks. Get rid of jump attacks. What was I saying? Yeah, I think at this diminishing returns in poise. I'm at the point just baseline as the raider where my poise is high enough that most standard creatures aren't gonna stagger me with their attacks, and if they are gonna stagger me, the extra 25% is not gonna stop me from being staggered because they're like a major boss or something. So there's probably not a lot of value in that, actually, to be honest. Even though it might look good on paper. Anyway, in summary, I took the Godfrey icon for skill. Ooh, there we go. And the HP. Is he a... He is a... No, he is a boss. We'll see what he's got. Golden sword. No, neither of those are really good for us. Which is a shame, but I'm kind of at the point where I think the... Oh, that's my hand. I always get excited when I see that. The Guts' Greatsword was my favourite weapon in base Elden Ring, and I get excited because all Colossal Swords show up as the Guts' Greatsword like appearance, but like that was the Zweihander, for example. So It's just From Software teasing me. I get very excited about the greatsword. Yes, I'm one of those people. Alright, we'll get that dragon later, but I might go up and... I think I'm settling on this Great Stars. So I have a level 2 gem. I'm going to go upgrade that first. And up at this ruins, there's a... For whatever reason, this ruins has a... Giant bubbles are forming. Oh, is this that floaty boss? I think it is. That's going to be really annoying as a raider. I'll at least upgrade my weapon first. And I'll grab my Wending Grace. Wending Grace for solo play is non-negotiable. And now I've got a level 3 or a purple fire. What's it called? Great Stars. Is this the floaty worm bubble boy that I'm thinking of? It is. Yeah, this is going to be awful. He floats around up above you, and it's, for a melee character, it's just the definition of miserable. Like, it's just such a lame fight. Like, this is going to be 2 minutes of me running and jumping at this guy and missing half of them. Although I'm getting a few good attacks in here. That's a good start. I've played this before where it literally took me probably 60 seconds before I even landed a hit. But the Great Stars might have decent reach. This is good. This is alright. Okay. Oh, I missed the critical. That's a shame. Okay, this is not too bad. There we go. So that was the retaliation. Unfortunately, he left melee range, so the punch didn't do any damage. But I didn't get knocked over, and I took basically no damage. So, in fact, I should be using... I'm still not in the habit of using it as much as I should. I feel like this is probably one of the characters where you'd really benefit from having the reductions in the relics that reduce your character skill. I do have the relics, and actually I'll use this chance now. I'll put my relics up on the screen while I'm jumping at this boss for another minute. I've got the relics from memory. One of them that increases... There's another empowered one. Bang. The relic that increases my... You can see my attack power up there. It's just disappeared. Whenever I take damage during retaliation, I get an attack power up and a stamina power up, I think. The stamina boost. And then... There we go. Alright, so that wasn't too bad. And I'll put the other 2 relics up on the screen as well, but I think they're just generic, like, stamina buffs and crit buffs and things like that. It's the gaining attack and stamina buff on... Oh, what? Why am I down here? That is really annoying. That is, all of a sudden, not worth it at all. I mean, what did I get? I got a decent chunk of runes from that boss. I didn't even notice. I got 1 level out of it, I guess, but... That's just put me back at the bottom. I wonder if it always does that. Just put me back at the bottom of the map. That is very lame, because that's just wasted another 45 seconds of running. Anyway, so my relics, I've got the some standard, just generic strength ones, and some stamina and like crit buffs and stuff. I think a bonus to crit, a bonus to stamina regeneration when I do a crit. But then there's one that increases my attack and stamina after absorbing damage during retaliation, and that's really good. If I had more relics, I'd combo that with reducing the skill cooldown of retaliation, because, excuse me, it's one of those abilities where I actually do find myself waiting for it to come off cooldown, because it is very useful in a fight, just to use as a... Just use it as like an absorb, basically. Like I'm going to just avoid... I'm going to ignore this next hit. I mean, it's perfect, thematic skill for a raider, right? Like you just... For a big tanky boy, you just ignore whatever's hitting you and you punch them back. It's fantastic. But it does feel very good when you get the big empowered ones, and it does a lot of poise damage. All right, we've got a dragon and a troll, a snow troll. A flying dragon. This one's pretty weak. It shouldn't be too hard to polish up. Oh, yeah, man. My fire Great Stars is doing big damage. We'll do an eruption right there on the wing. That's going to do lovely damage. And we'll just ulti right on top of both of them. Bang! And if I retaliate the landing, this will be lovely. There we go. See that? Oh, I didn't get the empowered one, but still, I didn't get knocked over, and I took basically no damage. So you just really start to use that proactively. To just, I want to avoid the next hit, press retaliation and avoid next hit. It's really quite satisfying. Neither of these are good for me. I'll just take the boost to dragons in case I decide to go up and fight the area boss here, but the area boss here doesn't really do much for me in this run through. The area boss, the area boss gives me runes and stuff, obviously, but it's probably the most risky thing I could take on by myself right now. Whereas, and the boon, the dormant power that you get from it is a bunch of bonuses to like frostbite and frostbite resistance. So not applicable to this run. So unless I'm really bored, there's plenty of other things to kill. I will probably just avoid it because it's unnecessary risk, and I'm off to a good run at the moment. So I'm not feeling like I really need to. Snowfield trolls. There's 2 of them here, plus a bunch of the Caled dogs. There we go. Bang. That's the punch, and it is, as you can see, the poise damage is insane. And I took, again, look at my health bar. That's after absorbing that snow troll's, slam, punching slam. Basically no damage. Very satisfying. And this Great Stars is doing massive work. This is a great weapon to have gotten. Eruption's kind of whatever. I would have preferred something else, but the weapon itself is, in this case, the weapon is more important. Often I actually advocate for the weapon skill being more important, especially if you can get things like those really good boss killing skills, Giant's Hunts, Lion's Claws, Piercing Fang, things like double slash, sword dance, whatever it's called. There's lots of really good weapon skills that can just delete bosses. But in this case, on a heavier weapon like this, you're just literally every hit, because the weapon is so strong as a colossal weapon, every hit chunks them. So I often, like in base Elden Ring, I would run Bloodhound Step on the Greatsword just because you could avoid everything, and the Greatsword did enough damage by itself, which was always a fun combo to run. I'm giving away too much information about myself, saying that I ran that I ran Bloodhound Step with a Greatsword. It tells you too much, more than you needed to know. All right, that Glint Blades is doing work. Where to go now? We've cleared quite a lot. What have we got there? Skill attack power for Eruption. Probably get more value out of that than crits, so I'll replace that. Nothing valuable up here. I don't have any consumables right now. I should get myself a couple of crab meats and a couple of exalted flesh would be nice. 100k runes at level 11. That's 2 levels. No, it's not 2 levels. It's 1 level, because level 12 is 55. I think level 13 is probably somewhere around 65, 70. So not quite 2 levels, but it's getting close. I think I'll just go down and get another mine, because I decided that I didn't want to do the dragon, so it's kind of too late for that. I could go to the castle. I don't know how much time I've got. I might just jump into this mine, and if I happen to get something better, I'll have another level 2 stone to upgrade, which can never hurt. And it's just some trash to farm. Because at this point, I'm not too concerned about my runes or my level. I'm actually more concerned about just being in the right spot and not overextending. Like at this point, I'm level 11. I'll be level 13 by the time I come out of this mine, probably. Oh, I'll have equivalent runes to be level 13. I don't need to be rushing to get any more than that. My preference is actually that I am just not overextended. This pumpkin head's just... Oh, dear. Alright, excuse me while this pumpkin head just headbutts me. I'd prefer not to go to the castle. Yes, there's better stuff there at this point, but I go to the castle, I accidentally die or I overextend and I have a bad run back, and then I've got no health flasks. At this point, and I would have to kill a lot of stuff very quickly to get from level 13 to 14. So at this point, I'm probably better off just playing it safe, grabbing another stone in case I get a different weapon, and being in position when the night hits, which has got to be soon. Oh, it is moving. It is moving. Yeah, okay. So it's just up there in the mountains. I think these. I think all of the shifting Earth events force you into the zone, into the shifting event zone. I've already cleared that whole area up above, so I'm just going to do a run along the kind of bottom of this cliff face. I don't think there's much here, and I'll skirt around the side of the castle, but just in case there's any scarabs or something, I don't know. There's probably not much, but I've cleared everything up top as well, so... Gosh, level 13 equivalent and running around with nothing to kill. That's interesting. Let's see if this actually does get me to level 13. I reckon I'll be either... What did I say? 55 and 70, so not quite. I'll be just shy. Ah, bugger. There we go. That's okay. I'll be able to get a few kills here. I can see a snow troll up here. And I'll level up at the dragon side of Grace up the top there. And then I'll be level 13 going into this next fight, which would be lovely. We'll do an eruption straight into his feet, which does nice damage. It actually doesn't do the best damage. I guess it does that little ticking damage, but I don't know how valuable that is, to be honest. There you go. I did get the retaliation, but he moved out of range because he rolled away. Dear. Alright, that's fine. Blood procs. Again, blood procs. So useful. So useful. Great Stars is a fantastic weapon. If you get a Great Stars, keep it. Not always, obviously, it depends, but... Ooh, Flask HP Restoration, 20%. That's, don't sleep on that. That's really valuable, because 20% more flasks over... Well, you know, over 5 flasks, that's a whole nother flask, right? But we've got 6 already, so it's like 1.2 more flasks or whatever. It's quite valuable. It just straight up... Ooh, not quite. We might be able to get to the other one. It's just straight up increases our effective health pool, kind of indirectly through how much we can return or restore with each given flask, which is good. So you can kind of treat those as max. They're not max HP in the sense of getting one shot, but they are effective health pool, or they can equate as that. 78k now. We should be able to, and this is worth getting a level. A level for this final boss is worth just ducking in here and taking a little bit of damage. Definitely, no question about that at all. Like I'll just take a little bit of health here. But I'm now a whole level up, which is, health, damage, stats, everything. So getting one more level is always going to be worth it if you can get away with minimal damage or consequence. Oh, I love those glint blades just doing their thing. Anything that passively does work for me, I'm all about. Lazy gamer. Alright, these things you just need to hit on the back because they've got these annoying shields and get away from those lightning bursts. I don't know what this boss is either, to be honest. Oh, I think, no, this is the, these are the Nocastella guys, so this must be the big dragonkin soldier, whatever it's called, the weird mangled dragon sitting on his hind legs, which is actually one of my most disliked fights. He's just got a weird hitbox, like at the base of his kind of crutch region, you'll see what I mean. You don't connect your hits, you have to be kind of at the back of his legs. It's just got a shitty hitbox. I'm not a big fan. And he's got just kind of annoying moves. Even though they are... Oh, dear. See? What did I say? Terrible boss. Alright, that's not a good start. But we do have multiple... That's our free revive that we have now part of the patch. And I've still got a Wending Grace as well, so we're fine. I'll use my ulti now and try and pay more attention. As you can see, it's... I just find a lot of these colossal weapons, the hammers in particular, don't have the best range. And a boss like this where they've got kind of a big dead... Oh my god. I need to pay attention to what I'm doing. They've got kind of this dead zone hitbox right underneath their legs. It's kind of an immobile character like the Raider. I find this quite a frustrating fight. There we go. Get a retaliation punch. And see that? Damage and staggered? Like that's what I should have been... I don't know why I'm not doing that from the start. As I said, I do need to be using retaliation more because it is a very powerful skill. Very powerful skill. I actually want... again, I should get caught in the animation. I should have used retaliation again there. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Now, when he does this phase here, you just need to move. Like, use your surge sprint if you need to and run out of all these lightning animations because they pop a few seconds later and they can catch you out pretty easily. There we go. I absorbed that one, but I didn't get the... he ran off. This is a fantastic example of how not to fight this boss. But anyway, in true Raider fashion, I am just brute forcing my way through this boss. Retaliate. No, I'm just going to hit him. That's what I mean. See, that felt like it should have hit, but it didn't actually connect. There we go. Retaliation. All right. Very lame boss. Not a fan of that on this kind of character. Something like the Iron Eye, that's an easy boss. You use your marking dash straight through it, and then you just shoot it from range. Super easy. I guess I'll take Glint Blades. I don't know whether that's going to overwrite my Glint Blades on the weapon. It looks like it has. Let's have a look. Let's just stand here for a second and see what happens. If the others will spawn, or whether they'll replace it. It'd be cool if they all just came up together. Like all... Oh, no, they replace it. They replace it. Oh, that's a shame. Oh, but they came back quickly. Maybe they will alternate. I'll still get value out of it because they'll alternate more quickly. We'll see. Not that it really matters. All right, so level 13. This will get us to level 14, actually, with 92k, I'd say. Yes, lovely. And then we need to pick up one more Wending Grace Revive. Yes. And an Exalted Flesh for a bit of damage. And that'll be pretty good. Level 14, let's have a look. Fire Great Stars. I've got Periodic Glint Blades, damage negation at full HP, damage negation at low HP, skill attack power. Oh, walk too far. I'll just skip this. Skill attack power, and I didn't see what the other one was, but it doesn't matter. All right, get your buffs going. And this is, in fact, this is going to probably feel similar to the Dragonkin Soldier we just fought. Very big boss model, lots of stomps and things that you can't really see. And, yep, off to a good start. Oh, off to a fantastic start. On a fairly immobile character like this. All right. Deja vu much? Okay, well, that's my free revive again. And I'll have to see if I can not do that again. So on this boss, you just want to move in and out and collect. Oh, it doesn't have a crit spot unless there's something that I don't know about, but I haven't found a crit spot on this boss when he goes down, so that's unfortunate. But fire damage is doing a reasonable amount of damage. I've just used my ulti, and now I'm kind of getting plenty of damage into him again. And retaliation empowered. Oh, although it didn't connect, he must have just gone underground. Again, this is, I mean, if anyone's going to stand there, get knocked over, stand back up and keep hitting, it's the Raider. That's kind of what they do. So again, a bit of a masterclass in how to brute force a fight. This phase is pretty awful when he jumps on top. If you're playing something like the Wilder with grappling hook, or you've got, oh, get out of that, get out of that. You want to get out of that is what I was about to tell you. Grappling hooks, any kind of mobility on the other characters, and you want to just lots of lateral movement here to the side to get out of this, this mechanic that I'm just completely eating in full at the moment, but I'm the Raider, so I guess it's okay apparently. Level 14 Raider with big HP. I guess that's what it's for. Oh, that stacked it somehow. Whatever, I'll take it. There we go, blood proc. Alright. So I only need to be able to get a few hits on when I'm doing a lot of damage. For some reason that retaliation didn't land there. A bit of a janky hitbox actually, this one, to be honest. That's twice my retaliation punches haven't actually connected. Because they do have quite a short melee range, but even there, standing in its legs, I didn't actually connect with anything. Which is a shame. Look, I'm out of potions, but I've got multiple revives still, Wending Graces, and this is looking like it'll be fine. Yeah. Alright, well there you go. That's how you brute force a boss as the Raider with not a lot of skill. But anyway, that's why we spend the previous 35 minutes farming up passives and runes and things, and the right weapon passives, so that we are tanky enough to brute force a fight like that. So, and if anyone's going to do it, that's what the Raider's for. So that's it. Thanks for watching, everyone.